I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna, Seca is one of the classic North American road racing circuits. The serpentine ribbon of pavement winding through the hills of Northern California's Monterey Peninsula. Laguna is the site of one of the most unique and famous corners in all of motorsports, the corkscrew. Approach from a long, fast uphill run, the corkscrew is a blind, plunging left-hander that is more akin to a ski slope than a piece of racetrack. Originally built by the Army Corps of Engineers on a corner of what was then Fort Ord, Laguna Seca opened in 1957, and its half-century operation has been host to every significant North American road racing series, from legendary Can-Am to the Trans Am Series, IMSA Camel GT, and Indy cars. Today, a part of the Monterey County Park System, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca hosts the open wheel, IMSA, Rolex Monterey Historic Races, and the West Coast home of the Skip Barber Racing School. In addition, the track hosts two of America's most important motorcycle races, the Red Bull US Grand Prix, a round of the MotoGP World Championship, and the Corona AMA Superbike Finale, the final round of America's premier motorcycle road racing series. Tonight, it's the 11th round of the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series, and it's next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, round 11 of the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Beautiful Laguna Seca. Great racetrack. It's loved by many, hated by some. It's certainly a tricky place to get around, but either way, we're glad you're all here. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, getting ready for this 1-hour sprint here tonight, the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Practice just about wrapped up. Try to get a quick look here to see where everybody's stacked up. Aldo Suckling the quickest, 1:21.090. Qualifying session has been reduced from 15 minutes down to 10 tonight. Somewhat shorter circuit, so that's the reasoning behind that. Gaston Masroni. Practice just finishing up. Gaston goes a little bit wide there on exit. No worries, into the pit lane here to finish the practice session. Let's take a look at the practice results. We didn't get to cover too much of it, but again, Aldo Secklin was fastest. Minute 21.090. Terry Crouch about half-tenth shy of that. Then Gaston Masroni, 0.4 of a second, rounded up to 5/10. James Vance, Dave Seats, your top 5 in that practice session. Drivers leaving pit lane already here to get qualifying underway. Again, a 10-minute session to set the field for tonight's race. Again, Aldo Secklin fastest in the practice session in the Ferrari, one of only 2 in the field here tonight. Almost sounded like Secklin got on the rev limiter there for just a moment, inadvertently. Secklin takes the green to start his first qualifying lap. Aldo not wasting any time or any racetrack for that matter. Taking that race car all the way to the edge of the curbing on exit. He's catching the Audi of Mike Piazza though. Not sure if that's going to hold him up at all. Terry Crouch lays the first lap in minute 21.547. James Vance second quick. Secklin does not top the time of Terry Crouch's first lap. A minute 21.586, close. Less than half a tenth shy. He's going to give it another go here on lap 2. Lap 3, that is. James Vance in the BMW. Third fast on the board so far. Vance up into the corkscrew down the hill. And best lap for Vance, minute 21:8:26. Secklin goes P1, minute 21:183, tops Terry Crouch. Again, Terry's going to have to go to the rear anyway, but he's still out there trying to get the points for the pole. Vance off the final corner, turn 11. 21:76, picks up the pace, doesn't gain any spots out of it. Teammate Andrew Locke on the track. See what kind of time the 23 car can lay down here. Put himself hopefully into the top 5. Somewhat small field here this afternoon at Laguna Seca. Only 14 cars. Should make for a relatively clean start, though. Andrew runs his first lap in at 22:894. Gaston Masroni in the 3 BMW, a Coanda Racing driver. Hasn't clocked a lap just yet, waiting till a little bit later in the session, cross the stripe. Is this the green lap or is this a timed lap? Looks like that's the green flag lap. He's on his first hot lap of the session with about 3 minutes to go. Top time still Aldo Secklin in the Ferrari, minute 21:183. Masroni out of 11, crosses the stripe. Where does he fall into this mix? Minute 23:562, 11th quick. Still time for another lap here. He's going to give it another go, trying to knock that time down and improve his position. Not a very good characteristic lap we'd expect to see out of Masroni. Typically, we expect to see him in that top 5, if not top 3. Dave Seats, 5th fast, minute 22:111. Ooh, over-rotates it a bit. He's going to get a piece of the tire barrier here. That's going to wrap up his session more than likely. Not going to have enough time to get another lap in. Kevin Burrows jumps right to it here in the session. He goes a little bit wide. He's going to get the off track. That will negate his lap. His best time, a minute 22:121. Randall White, also a TLDR Sim Sport driver. Minute 22:235. Picks it up, minute 22:017 as the clock is in the final minute of the session. Terry Crouch wraps up his run here for the pole. Looks like he's not going to be able to knock Secklin off that top spot. James Vance still 3rd fast, minute 21:765. Vance goes wide. He's going to put it in the fence too. That's going to be a throwaway lap. So it's going to be a third place starting position for James Vance. Clock has exceeded the 10-minute mark, letting some guys wrap up their times, Andrew Locke being one of them. With that, we're going to jump out and get a quick break out of the way. We'll be back with our starting grid after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna, Seca, round 11 of the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Let's take a look at our starting grid. On the pole position with a lap time of 1:21.183 seconds, it's the Ferrari of Aldo Secklin outside front row. TLD Sim Sport, the number 59 at Terry Crouch, though he will have to drop to the rear for his win penalty. Starting third, James Vance, the number 87 out of Canada. Daniel Clark will start P4. Randall White will roll off from the fifth spot. Sixth goes to Dave Seitz. Seventh starting position, TLDR Sim Sport driver Kevin Burrows. Andrew Locke, the number 23, starts in the 8th position with Dave Tamira, the Indonesian racer. The 014 starts P9. Chris Pio starts in the 10th position. Gaston Masroni, P11. And 12th starting position goes to Nick Batista. 13th, the Porsche of Sean Roberts. And 14th, last but not least, with Time Slice Motorsports, the 71, the Audi of Mike Piazza. Your starting grid. WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Field working second half of its lap here before we go to the green flag, which we will get momentarily. Taking a look at the win penalty for tonight. going to go to Terry Crouch for his win last week at Bathurst. He'll have to go to the rear. A little less of a penalty this week as we do have a shorter field. Field up the hill. This is essentially the entry into that blind left-hand downhill. We call it the corkscrew. Porsche pace car peels off. Aldo Secklin holds the field in check. Into turn 11. We wait for the green flag. Outside line, a little out of position.
Green.
Green flag waves. We're underway. Aldo Secklin maintaining that top spot halfway through the lap. And a 60-minute sprint race here at Laguna Seca, so these guys are going to be putting the power down, trying to run qualifying laps from here all the way to the finish. No sense in trying to save anything. They do need to make 2 pit stops based on the fuel on board. Tires, well, that remains the question. We've seen varying strategies throughout the course of this season. Some decide to take a set for 1 stop and go gas only on the next. Some have thought, let's go no tires at any point. Let's run this whole race without changing tires. Interesting with the new update on these GT3 cars is they do allow you to change tires simultaneous to filling fuel in the machines. Lap 1 complete. Secklin leads it. James Vance up into the 2nd position in the BMW. He's gone around Randall White. Terry Crouch, though, already up into the 9th position, working his way through lap 1. Credited with note here, Gaston Masroni out of this one early. Not sure exactly what happened with Gaston. I don't see an incident where he has crashed, but I do see an off track here. Let's take a look, see what happened with Gaston Masroni. Oh, into turn 1 it looks like. That was a pretty hard impact. Let's back it up and slow her down. Looks like the Ford of Chris Pio to the outside. Gaston starting to creep up a bit. Pio not in the brakes just yet. Clips the right rear of the BMW. I'm going to go on board with that Ford and see exactly what it looked like from his perspective at speed. Not into turn 1. This is down into turn 4. You see the damage, though, to Gaston Masroni's machine. Rear wheel's not even spinning. Likely towed that thing back to the pits. He may have just called it a day. I can't say that I would blame him. He's back on the track, though, so he's not giving up just yet. He is a lap down, but I don't know. Maybe some positions to gain. Work on just running some clean laps from here on in. Worry about some other guys and some attrition. Maybe you can pick up a couple of positions here just for the points alone. Meanwhile, Aldo Secklin out in front. From the pole position, he's put a 1.7 gap back to James Vance. While we watch Secklin continue to lead, let's take a look at our current point standings coming into tonight. Terry Crouch, of course, top of that board, 1175 his point total. Then it's teammate Kevin Burrows. Gaston Masroni comes into this third in points, only 9 shy of P2. Likely to take a pretty hard hit here in those point standings, given that first lap crash. TLDR Simsport driver Randall White's 4th, James Vance 5th. Kevin Blue in the stream chat says Vance is going to have a hard time catching Aldo. It seemed that way in the practice session. Even Terry Crouch in qualifying unable to top Aldo's time. This track certainly seems to suit Aldo's driving style. Definitely has a lot of pace here. A lot of momentum, a lot of commitment involved in a fast lap around this place. But you got to be able to take care of it the whole way. I know it's only an hour sprint. Mike Piazza has crashed as well. Some damage on that Audi. Let's take a look what happened with Mike. Already some damage prior to the incident. This is the final turn 11, just loops it. Not a significant impact. Really curious where the damage came from on that Audi. Dave Seats running back in the 5th position, but we've got a battle here between Terry Crouch and Dave Tamira. Remember, Terry had to start from the rear. The EOL, the win penalty from last week at Bathurst. He's very quickly worked halfway through this field. Though only 14 cars tonight, so that win penalty not as much of a detriment as sometimes it would be. Up the hill into the corkscrew again. Terry Crouch less than a car length off the rear bumper. David Tamira. Oh, Tamira loses it on 11. Let's get a better look at that, see truthfully what happened. I know there was certainly no contact, but Tamira pushing hard. Just goes a little wide on exit, gets the car in the gravel. Half spin, continues on, loses at least a spot. Actually 2. Daniel Clark gets by as well. Looks like Dave has gotten it back or is contending for it at the minimum. Now he's got it back. Mike Piazza in trouble again. This afternoon going from bad to worse. Let's see what happened. Looks like this was in the corkscrew. Yeah, up the hill. Just probably a little bit too much rear brake into it. It comes around. Very easy to do there. Of course, the car gets super light as you crest the hill. Terry Crouch up into that 6th position after David Tamira's incident on turn 11. Tamira trying to fight off Daniel Clark. Nick Batista in his own battle with Andrew Locke. Batista in that white and green Ferrari. Andrew just behind there in the BMW. Some nose damage on that BMW. I'm curious if there was some contact at one point. Andrew Locke back running in the 10th position. Let's go on board with Andrew, see what he sees. real good on the brakes down in the corkscrew, closes the gap by about a car length. The Ferrari pulls away. Not here, though. And back in the corner, that BMW showing its ability to handle. Last handful of corners is where Andrew Locke is excelling, but Gaston Masroni powering his way through the field after that fast repair. Again, just trying to get back through this field, gain some positions. Him and Mike Piazza on the same lap. A little bit of congestion here coming up the hill, and again between Batista, Masroni, and Locke. Masroni a little bit wide on entry, got lucky. Back up the hill. Locke has taken the position away from the Ferrari and gone back around Gaston Masroni. Secklin maintains the lead, 4.1 second advantage over James Vance in P2. This battle continuing, though, between David Tamira and Daniel Klar. We saw early on when the pressure was applied to Tamira, he made a little bit of a mistake on exit, actually loses connection for a moment. That's got to be a little unnerving for Daniel Klar. Gaston still credited with P14 presently. Still 27 seconds behind the next position. That's Mike Piazza in the Audi. Mike's had a rough go of it already here in the first 12 minutes. He's had a few incidents, certainly has some damage, not quite on the pace. I think Gaston has the ability to catch him before this one is over. Every point matters. Although in that 666 Ferrari, looking stout in front of the field here. 5 seconds the advantage, roughly, if you round up here over James Vance. Through turns 5, going to go up the hill to the bridge, go under for turn 6, the left-hander. Sean Roberts in the pits already. Not sure if this is a scheduled stop or not. It seems early. Kevin Blue in the stream chat. Aldo using all of the racetrack, as well he should. So it makes you fast. You don't have to lift as much. The bigger you can make the racetrack, the faster you can allow that race car to go. It's a fine line you have to walk, though. You go over that edge just enough, and you put the tires in the grass or in the dirt in this case. Could be a very quick way to end the day. James Vance running P2, relatively under no pressure out the back window with Randall White, Kevin Burrows, 2 TLDR SimSport drivers in behind, but so is Terry Crouch up into P5. So you've got both TLDR drivers, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So Mike Piazza goes around in the corkscrew just like we saw early on, almost identical. Trying to get her righted. Gaston Masroni just ate away at a lot of that gap that Piazza had. This would be a battle for position once Gaston gets there. No, it's not much, but it's a 13th spot. Every point matters. Kevin Blue, remember when I beat the mighty Steve Singer at this track? I think that was in the GT1 days now that I think about it, but yes, I do recall that. Sisler actually has a better memory than me. I think I did spin, or at least drove it off the racetrack. That might have been a Pit Stop TV broadcast. Might have to dig through the archives and find that one. Oh, Gaston Masroni goes around. We talked about using all the racetrack and running the risk of getting into the dirt. That's what happened, it looked like, and then he gets the inside wall, trying to straighten it back out. Let's get a better look at it again here. Yeah, it looks like, yep, just a tiny bit of the left rear went in the grass, or the dirt for that matter. Tries to get out of the way because traffic's coming. Bangs the right side in the concrete. Hopefully didn't hurt the car too much. So, Masroni was closing in on Piazza for that 13th spot, had his own mishap, put some 15 seconds behind the 71 Audi. Still plenty of time to catch him. Not a whole lot of attrition going to help out Gaston here so far. Everything's clean and green. Everyone's still in the running. Randall White up in that third position. Teammate Kevin Burrows close behind, only about a second back. Here comes the fast Terry Crouch, though. Again, started out in the back today. Going to have a shot at a podium finish, I think, here today. I don't think anyone's going to have anything for the Ferrari of Aldo Secklin, barring any kind of mistakes out of that Ferrari. Front of the field, he is lights out. Fastest lap of the day thus far does belong to race leader Aldo Secklin, a minute 21:59. Terry Crouch just off of that, 9/100ths of a second shy, minute 21:68. Kevin Blue with more details on his race win here at Laguna Seca against me in GT1. He says, it took you having an EOL at the break, Andrew Locke doing the kamikaze into the wall, and you running off the track trying to pass me on the last lap to win. But you know what they say, a win's a win. It certainly is. Doesn't matter how you get it, as long as you get it. Had to be in position to win it, Kevin. You did that, so job well done. Again, Kevin Blue, typically a racer here in this series. Of course, he's the admin for this series, as well as Terry Crouch and others. Chris Pio, I believe. There's one more I'm missing, I'm sure, but working related issues tonight, unable to make the race. Again, one of his favorite places to run. Distance between Kevin Burrows and teammate Terry Crouch is shrinking lap by lap. Terry Crouch is there into the corkscrew. It might be a car length, maybe two. Seckland still out in front, 5.8 seconds back to James Vance. Randall White runs the third position, about 2 seconds behind Vance. Back to the main straightaway here, 20 minutes in of 1 hour. Pit stop's likely to be underway here momentarily. Fuel window certainly open. Break this into 2 stops. We're at the 21-minute mark. Terry Crouch goes on by Kevin Burrows. Looks like that was a friendly. Go ahead and take it, Terry. You're faster. I'm not going to hold you up. Move Terry Crouch up into P4. Curious to see if he'll get the same courtesy from Randall White once he gets there. Randall's been awful quick as well, and he's currently in a podium position. Down the corkscrew, one of racing's most iconic corners, I guess you could call it sets of corners or complex. I would love to have been there during the conversation of the architectural meeting for building this racetrack. Hey, let's do this. It's going to fall off about 5 stories in 2 corners. Yeah, that'll work. Somehow they made it work. Randall White encountering some lap traffic. It's the Audio Mike Piazza still out there clicking off laps. Terry Crouch closing in on teammate Randall White as well. That would be for the 3rd position. Still pit stops. Expecting them to come up here very soon. If not the next time by, we'll see. White and Crouch down pit lane at the same time. So is Kevin Burrows. Team pit stops here at Laguna Seca. First green flag stops, scheduled stops. James Vance also in the pits. Dave Seats opts for pit lane, although Seckland stays out. It's going to make for a very short final stop for the Ferrari at 23 minutes in. Long stop for Vance. Looks like no tires, though. It's fuel only. 18.03 seconds for Vance. I think he probably could have put 4 tires on that in about the same amount of time. Kevin Burrows down and away. Randall White is down. Terry Crouch comes out behind them both. Very interesting. Slow stop for Terry Crouch, possibly 22.25 seconds in the pits for Terry Crouch. Randall White was at 22.12. Kevin Burrows is 17.73 in the pits as far as the pit stall is concerned. Total pit lane time for Vance was about a minute. Kevin Burrows about the same. 1:03 for White. Terry Crouch 1:03. Dave Seats was a minute. His pit stops just about complete. Aldo Seckland down pit lane. From the race lead. See what his choice. It's going to take tires. Again, with a pit stop that long, you kind of think they're going to. Let's see how long this one rolls out if it's in that 22-second mark. You got to admit that his last stop is going to be fuel only, more than likely. We've given him a short amount of time he'll have left. It'll be about 10 minutes remaining in the race if he takes a full fuel load here. Tires and fuel for Aldo Secklin, 22.37. He's down and away. Certainly has plenty of pace. In fact, he gets out of here in front of James Vance. Now cold tires for Secklin. He's going to have to get him warmed up, but he might have enough of a gap between himself and the Canadian of James Vance to maintain that gap. It's about a 3.2 second advantage over James Vance. Through the cycle, Terry Crouch has taken a spot back away from Randall White. Now he closes in on Kevin Burrows for that third spot. Daniel Clark, a lap down. So with that, we're going to go HBR TV side by side, our first break of the day, but you won't miss a minute of the action. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna, Seca, Aldo Secklin still your race leader over James Vance, 5.8 seconds ahead to be exact. Terry Crouch up into the third position, closing in on James. It's only about 3 seconds, a little bit less between these two drivers. That's really going to be where the battle is going to come down to for P2 here this afternoon. Secklin, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, likely to take this one home, as we are just about halfway He's maintained the lead through every lap, even through the cycle of pit stops. Waited until the very end to make his stop. Took a set of tires anyway. Kevin Burrows under pressure now from Randall White through the corkscrew. Battle really shaping up here for this position. Kevin Burrows in P4 and Randall White, they are teammates, but Randall does seem to have a little bit more pace. Lifts out of the throttle, he's gonna let him go. Saw that early on with Terry Crouch. No sense in holding up a teammate here. If he's got the pace on you, let him go by and see what he can do. Crouch, White, and Burrows running 3rd, 4th, and 5th currently. You can almost feel the bottom fall out when you ride on board through the corkscrew there. Secklin still with the race lead, 6.2 seconds and growing over the number 87 of James Vance. Vance now has company in his rearview mirror. It's Terry Crouch. Lap by lap, Terry Crouch a minute 21.83 the last time. Vance was a minute 22.97. Just a matter of time here, I think. Terry, he's got the pace, but Vance is going to be difficult to get by regardless. Very good at running a defensive line. Take away the preferred line of the driver who's attacking. Get both drivers in a BMW here out of turn 11. 33.5 minutes elapsed. Down the hill into the Andretti hairpin. Lap times equalizing a bit there. The last time by, Crouch still faster, a minute 22.57 to Vance running a 22.81. Terry had an incident there. He just lost a ton of ground. In fact, it looks like he has. Let's take a look at it. Terry Crouch, did he run wide here just a moment ago? He does, very wide. All 4 off. Gets back on without incident. Just lost a lot of track position there to James Vance. Alonso still out front, 7.2 seconds. Every time we check on race leader Aldo Secklin in the Ferrari, that gap is increasing more and more over the second place running James Vance. It's about 7.4 seconds as he puts Bautista a lap down. Let's try to go through the field here while we get the chance. Secklin, of course, your race leader from the pole position. 35 minutes in, he's led every lap. James Vance, driver the number 87 Liqui-Moly BMW. Started P3 up into that second position, took it over right away. Vance having a hell of a time trying to keep pace with Secklin, but doing a good job maintaining that second spot, at least for now. Terry Crouch hot on his heels. Crouch qualified outside front row, had to go to the back with the wind penalty. Randall White runs in the fourth position. He's up one spot as well. Teammate Kevin Burrows runs in P5. Through the corkscrew, down the hill. He's up a couple of spots, qualified P7 here today. David Seitz in the Mercedes, the only Mercedes in the field. Started sixth, runs sixth. Sean Roberts, the only Porsche in the field here today. Roberts up 6 positions. I don't think he even took a lap in qualifying, I don't think. Started 13th. David Tamira qualified 9th. David running in the 8th spot. Last car on the lead lap. Nick Bautista just recently went down a lap in the other Ferrari. He's up 3 spots as well. Then we got the Ford, the only Ford in the field of Chris Pio. Best sounding car out there next to that RSR Porsche. Porsche GT3 GTR. Chris started 10th, runs 10th. Mike Piazza, again, we've talked about him a bunch today and not in ways that he's wanted us to. Had a tough go of it to start this race. Car is kind of beaten and battered, but still got all 4 wheels on it. Continues to fight, maintaining the 11th position. Daniel Clark in the pits. This is likely a scheduled stop. He runs 12th. Andrew Locke. Big time damage on the BMW of Andrew Locke. Let's see what happened with Andrew. This is just a moment ago, it seems. Oh, straight off the racetrack. Reminiscent of the GT3 Series race here last year, a year and a half ago. Brake failure potentially for the BMW. And then Gaston Masroni rounding out the field in 14th, unable to make his way back up through. He's out of this race. Sean Roberts in the pits. Likely his final stop of the day. Pit window is open for these drivers, it seems. You know, Aldo Secklin was able to go about 23 minutes before his first stop. Interestingly enough, he's going to take tires here. I don't know if he did on that first stop or not, but he's down and away. 17.3 seconds, a quick stop considering he took tires maybe only right sides. So with that, we're going to jump out and get our final HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Hopefully be back here for some pit stops. Stay with us. You won't miss a thing. We'll be right back.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Laguna Seca, we continue to watch this battle for P2 between James Vance and Terry Crouch. Terry has gotten within striking distance twice now and run into a slight mistake twice. Both times going off track just slightly, but Terry Crouch, he's done fighting. He's going to go straight to pit lane, see if he can leapfrog Vance through the pit cycle. Vance stays on the racetrack. See how this one cycles out. Does he go fuel only here? Oh, he misses the box, has to back it up. 11 seconds of fuel, he's got it away. Terry Crouch in the pit exit here. He's coming out in P6. Just over 15 minutes remain. Secklin still out in front here ahead of James Vance. It's 11.5 seconds between him and P2. Randall White runs third. Kevin Burrows now fourth. Dave Seats fifth. Those drivers, top 5 drivers, all needing to make a final pit stop before this one is through. James Vance stays on the track as well. They go by the same strategy that he employed the first time round. Pit stops for Vance, White, Burrows, and Seats. We're on lap 17. So let's look at lap 34 as a probable pit time for all of those drivers, unless they're just trying to stretch it a little bit further to make a shorter pit stop for fuel only. Again, I can't imagine drivers that did take tires the first time opting to do it again here with so little time left in the race. You're not really going to get them up to optimum temperature fast enough to take advantage of it. Vance stays out once again. So possibly the next time by, we could see the 87 hit pit lane. Randall White stays out as well. Kevin Burrows, does he come down? He does. Going to be fuel only for Kevin Burrows as well. Terry Crouch bypasses him in the pits, moves himself up to P4. A quick stop for Burrows, 9.6 seconds. Going to be running on fumes at the end of this one. I think that's by design. Dave Seats also in the pits. Fuel only. Great looking paint scheme on that Mercedes here today. Still sporting a Pennsylvania license plate though. No need to trailer this one. They're going to drive it back. Mike Piazza in trouble again. Ken really has had a tough afternoon. This is, I think, coming through turn 10 just before pit entry. Yes, indeed. Chris Pio goes by on the inside. Let's see what happened with Mike Piazza here just a moment ago. Slides it right through. I don't know if it's a Matter of just old tires, too much rear brake. Dave Tamura getting by, almost making contact. Gotta keep in mind that Audi receiving some damage early on, but at this stage of the game, looks like he may have used the fast repair, so it's relatively clean in appearance at this point. Top three drivers, Seca, Vance, and Randall White, still to hit pit lane here for their final stop with less than 12 minutes remaining. Vance and Randall White both in the pits at the same time here. Seca continues out on the racetrack. Vance down and away 11.3 seconds. Terry Crouch is going to leapfrog both drivers and move himself up into P2. Even with the mistake, missing the pit box, having to back up, Terry is able to gain some positions out of this pit cycle. It's going to be hard to guard for the rest of this event with just about 10 minutes remaining. Terry's going to have some pace, though he is on slightly older tires. Vance and Randall White just taking fuel only, so relatively same footing between those two drivers and Terry Crouch. This is continuing to become a runaway, though, for Aldo Seca. Though, with that said, Seca in the pits right now. Let's see how long this takes. Usually it's a full minute in the pits. This could be closer than we think, with Terry Crouch 40 seconds back. Seca in the pits, gonna be fuel only, so this will be a splash and go for sure. Yeah, he's down and away. Seca 10.87 seconds in the pits. Terry Crouch just now off turn 11. Aldo Seca right down a pit exit in the Andretti hairpin. Very comfortable gap back to P2 with 9 minutes remaining. Terry Crouch taking advantage of a very fast pit in and pit out. Even with the slight mistake in the pit box, gains 2 positions during this cycle. Takes it away from James Vance and Randall White. Vance running in the 3rd position. Still 2.8 seconds behind Terry Crouch. Randall White 5 seconds in the rearview mirror from Vance. So Vance just needs to run some clean laps here to the finish to maintain the podium. James Vance running some quick laps, though. I don't know if that was due to the lap car that Terry Crouch had to go by Mike Piazza, but they closed the gap about 3/4 of a second. Now it's down to 2.1 between Crouch and Vance. That would still be for the 2nd position. Vance is going to have to dispose of that Audi as well, however. Terry Crouch closing in on Chris Pio, another lap vehicle he's going to have to contend with. Vance makes a good clean pass on the Audi. Good position to do it. Doesn't cross him up too bad. Goes a little bit wide on exit. So the gap between Crouch and Vance, 2.5 seconds as they start to work their way up the hill. Vance Vance is pushing that BMW with everything he's got right now. Last lap, a minute 23:14. Terry Crouch, a minute 23:77. Gap down to 1.9 seconds. Vance having a very good corkscrew. Again, still another lapper to contend with. The Ford GT of Chris Pio. Vance might get him down into the Andretti hairpin. We'll see. Not quite close enough. Piazza off the track once again. Rejoins the race. Got to give him credit, man. All the trouble he's had here today, hasn't given up. Gonna run this thing to the finish. So Secklin has cycled through. His final pit stops put him about 13.3 seconds ahead of Terry Crouch. Oh, Pio loses it through the kink. Oh, and just makes a little bit of contact with James Vance in the third position. Vance goes off course, hits the tire barrier. Big time trouble for the podium driver, James Vance. He is out of it. Randall White's going to pick up P3 through that incident. Tough break. Wow, let's get a look and see what happened here. It looked like the Ford just got a little bit loose on the corner. Oh, he hit that red sausage curb. Really nowhere for James Vance to go. Let's watch from the in-car camera on James Vance. Dead to rights. Nothing he can really do there. Almost got by. Just needed another foot, maybe two, to make it work. Meanwhile, Secklin, to no one's surprise, still out in front. 14 seconds, the margin over second place running Terry Crouch. I gotta be honest, with the pace that Secklin has put down here today, I don't know that Terry would have really been able to contend even if he didn't have that EOL. Yes, he's done a masterful job working his way back up through the field into that second position through some aggressive in and out pitting and just raw pace. But Secklin runs this Ferrari so well, and he runs Laguna Seca so well. It's just the perfect match for him. Terry Crouch runs in P2 here with just over 3 minutes remaining. Presently, the closest battle on track for position, Randall White, Kevin Burrows, and even that, it's still a 5.5 second advantage for Randall White in that third spot. We thought we were going to have one shape up here at the finish with James Vance. He was closing in on Terry Crouch. Lap car, the Ford GT of Chris Pile, losing it. That was in turn 6. Caught that inside that red sausage curb, and around it went. James Vance, unfortunately, getting a big piece of that. Right front damage sent him across the racetrack into the tire barrier. Out of this one. Was looking at a podium finish here with just 5 minutes to go, and now he sits in 10th spot. although Secklin's still out in front. Under 2 minutes remain. Likely to get the white flag the next time by. He's working his way through turn 6, up the hill again. Secklin cleanly through turn 10. Left hand 11, looking for a white flag here. There you see it, Barney's waving the white. Final lap here from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Although Secklin, he has led every lap here this afternoon. It's just got to make it one more, and he can call it a victory here at WeatherTech Raceway in Laguna Seca. Terry Crouch runs second, Randall White third, Kevin Burrows fourth. It's a TLDR 2-3-4. Could have been a 1-2-3 if Aldo was too busy to race tonight, but not the case. Not to be denied. Certainly very fast around this place. Very fast in the Ferrari as well. Potent combination for the driver of the 666. Secklin back up the hill into the corkscrew for the final time. Might be trying to run a fast lap. Terry Crouch does have him edged out by 1/100th of a second. He's got to power down. One more corner to go for Aldo Secklin. Cleanly through turn 11, checkered flag waves. Aldo Secklin wins round number 11 from Laguna Seca. Terry Crouch off turn 11. We'll bring that BMW home into P2. Randall White down into the final corner as well. He will round out our podium finisher. Aldo Secklin, your race winner, as he works his way on the cool down lap. Very, very strong performance here this afternoon. With that, we're going to jump out, get a final break out of the way, an official break out of the way. No side-by-side for the cool down, but stay with us. We'll be back with our top 3 finishers in the broadcast booth after this. Stay with us.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, round 11 of the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series in the books. Aldo Secklin with a dominant performance here this afternoon, leading every lap. Let's pull Aldo into the broadcast booth. Aldo, it's Steve at HBR TV. You got us?
Hello, Steve. Yes, sir.
Aldo, congratulations once again. This time a dominating performance. I think you managed to lead every single lap, even through the pit cycles here. What is it about this place that just kind of suits your driving style? Is it the Ferrari itself? Is it a combination of the two? Tell us the secret.
Well, yeah, I think it's a combination of the two. I mean, Ferrari is a very good car for this track. It is a tricky track, but if you're constant, I think that's the secret for this one.
Well, next week, certainly things do get changed up a little bit as far as the type of racetrack that we are at. How do you feel next week rolling into Sebring? Certainly not an up and down elevation change type of a place, very flat. Does the Ferrari perform well there?
I think so. Yeah, it's a very tough track, Sebring, a lot of bumps. But I know the track well, so I hope. But I think I'm going to start from behind, right?
Yeah, you do have the wind penalty to contend with, but as Terry Crouch even showed, he started at the back tonight, still managed to bring it home P2. So I wouldn't throw all hope away. I think you certainly have an opportunity next week, even starting in the rear with the pace that you typically have in these cars. Certainly looking forward to watching it.
Well, I'll try for sure, but yeah, Terry's tough. He's really fast.
Well, Aldo, again, congratulations on the win here at Laguna Seca. We're going to let you go. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Well, my sponsor, my wife, of course. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Aldo. Good luck next week.
See you next week. Bye.
It's Aldo Secklin, your race winner here at Laguna Seca. Next, we're going to bring Terry Crouch up in the broadcast booth. Terry, it's Steve in the broadcast booth. You with us?
I am. How you doing?
Doing well, Terry. Congratulations. A hard-fought P2 finish here this afternoon. We watched you trying to reel in James Vance there a couple of times, maybe went wide once or twice, costing you some track position. You managed to keep it back on the racetrack and then leapfrog these guys through a matter of pit cycles. Walk us through the strategy in that event today at Laguna Seca.
Well, Vance is always going to be insanely difficult to pass. He's tough to race. He's just fast enough to be, really difficult to get around. So I was having trouble for whatever reason seeing my markers. I get up behind him, coming into whatever turn 2 or turn 3, couldn't see the board, went off in the dirt there. And then I was looking at the lap times and I was about 3 or 4 tenths slower trying to be cautious behind him and not run into him like I did at Spa. And I did to Pio at the beginning of this. Sorry, Chris. So I just figured when I saw I had 4 laps of fuel, I was calculating if I do my laps for 4 laps and then he comes in, I should come out a few seconds ahead. And that's, luckily it worked out, but there was no catching Aldo. Congrats to him.
Really kind of how it went down. We did see you come down and that final stop missed the pit box by just a hair, had to back it up, still enough of an advantage to take a couple of spots in that cycle though.
Yeah, any other mistakes of mine you want to point out?
Well, you don't make many of them usually, so when they happen, I got to talk about it, Terry.
Yeah, for sure. That was, it was up and down. It was that track is hard. It's high commitment. Every inch matters. So it's just exhausting. My wrists hurt. I'm sweating. It's a fun time though.
Well, speaking of fun times, next week we go out to Sebring. Certainly more a traditional, more a classic style, sports car style circuit. How do you feel about your odds of this BMW out at Sebring next week?
I feel good for keeping it clean. My only goal today was to not spin out because every EOL race I've had some sort of catastrophic issue. So I can't get another EOL this week because we only got 2 more. And the last one, you can't get the EOL. So I feel pretty good about, just holding serve and maintaining points. I'm not really going to push for wins if I can, avoid bending the car and let somebody leapfrog me in the last 2 weeks.
Some decent finishes, keep the car in one piece. You'll probably be okay as this one comes to its conclusion at season's end. But Terry, again, congratulations on the runner-up here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
I'm like a broken record. My wife, she's watching these. My daughter, the grandkids like to watch them. My boys at TLDR Sim Sport, Randall and Kevin were right behind me, and they're always so nice when I'm coming through. When you don't have to fight them, I'm like, you guys don't have to do that, but thank you. And even Dave Seitz was with us in the Discord, so we basically had a 2, 3, 4, 5 with the guys that were in there, so it was a good time.
We did see that, especially Kevin opening the door, letting you go on through. It's gentlemanly racing. You guys definitely are teammates. You can look at the lap times and see that you had a little bit more pace than those guys, and rather than hold up a teammate, knowing he's going to get by you eventually anyway, kind of cool to see him let you go by and see what you can get further down the line.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's very cool of him, and it's the smart play, but at the same time, I know every once in a while as teammates, you want to kind of see what you got and fight with each other, so I can't really argue either way, but it was really nice of them to let me through because I couldn't have passed Vance if they didn't.
Well, either way, again, Terry, congratulations on P2. Certainly good luck next week at Sebring, and thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you, sir. You do such a good job. Can't wait to watch this one.
Thanks, man. Terry Crouch, your runner-up here at Laguna Seca. Next is Randall White, another TLDR Sim Sport driver. We'll pull him up and get a word with him. Randall, it's Steve in the HBR TV broadcast booth. Are you with us?
Yeah, hey, Steve.
Randall, congratulations. Another podium finish here at Laguna Seca. Walk us through the strategy. You started P5 here today and quietly didn't cause any problems, didn't go off track, didn't wreck the car, had a solid day. Tell us about it. What was the strategy coming into this afternoon?
My strategy was to stay on the track. Simple as that. There wasn't much else to it. Not that great at Laguna. I don't have a lot of experience there. I just saw, if I could just keep it on the track, keep it clean, that'd be good. Changed tires. Destroyed the tires in the first stint. I changed tires, and Kevin didn't, so I was able to get past Kevin. Kind of let me by. And unfortunately, I guess James got caught up in an incident because he really deserved third. And that's what kind of got me up there.
Yeah, we watched that with about 4 or 5 minutes to go. I think it was the 4 to Chris Pio, lost it in 6, and really nowhere for Vance to go. Caught the right front of his BMW in the left front of the Ford, sent him off track with some damage, and unfortunately unable to finish this one. But his bad luck is your good luck. P3, you take them however you can get them, so that's always a plus. Next week, though, Sebring. Much different racetrack than we have here at Laguna Seca. Completely flat, no elevation change to speak of, and certainly quite bumpy. How do you feel about rolling into Sebring next week with our penultimate race?
I love Sebring. That's a fun track. It provides some good racing, too. It is bumpy, some of the corners, but I think the BMW would be good there. So looking forward to it.
As are we. And again, Randall, congratulations on your third place finish. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
I guess same as last week. My teammates, Terry and Kevin. Then, my dad's always watching your broadcast. He gets a kick out of it. So, yeah, that's about it.
All right, Randall. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck at Sebring.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
It's Randall White, your third place finisher. Here from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Let's take a look at our official race results as this one has come to its end. Of course, Aldo Secklin, your race winner. We talked to him and Terry Crouch, runner-up. Randall White, P3. Kevin Burrows was fourth. Fifth place finisher, well, that went to Dave Seitz in the Mercedes. Sean Roberts battled back to a sixth place finish in his Porsche. David Tamura, a little bit of struggles today, but still a solid seventh place. Nick Batista was eighth. Mike Piazza, talk about not giving up. This guy was all over the place, off the track a million different times tonight. Again, this place is tough. I'm not knocking on him, but I will give him a big-time pat on the back for not giving up, staying in the race car, not quitting, finishing P9 here this afternoon. James Vance was looking at a podium finish for sure, maybe even a second place. Was catching Terry Crouch there and got caught up with Chris Pio late in the running, about 4 or 5 minutes remaining. He finishes P10. Daniel Clark was 11th. Chris Pio, we just talked about, he was 12th. Andrew Locke, major incident for Andrew Locke. He was out of this one with many laps to go. He finishes 13th. Gaston Masroni, first lap incident, and then some more bad luck throughout the event. He finishes last in P14. Short field, so not as painful, but when you're working on points, the season's coming down to a close. It's going to be a tough one to battle back from. Last but not least, thank you guys for tuning into the stream chat. Thank you all for watching here, of course. And again, if you haven't already done it, check us out, hbrtv1.com. The site gets built on a little bit more each day. You do now have the ability to watch the live stream there. It is still via YouTube, but there is a link to watch the race directly from HBR TV1. There's going to be occasionally some photos from each race, so we'll post there every week. and just little tidbits of information, hot links to the social medias. As always, though, we still want you to like, follow, share, and subscribe, both Facebook and YouTube. It does help get the eyeballs on the channel and get this to a little bit wider of a viewing audience. That's going to wrap it up for us here at Laguna Seca. Congratulations to Aldo Secklin, winning round 11 here at the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Tune in tomorrow. We are here with the Numb Thumbs Racing League in Las Vegas. Tune in about 8 o'clock. We'll be here at HBRTV1.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.